How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Monday edition of Kayal Podcast Home. So, over the weekend, Goliath Season 2 dropped, and I want to talk about that for a quick second. Goliath Season 2 is, I won't say an improvement upon Season 1. Season 1 was a little uneven at times, but you got a real sense of stakes and investment as the season went on. You had this like drunk, washed up attorney just show up, be awesome, and with no resources and just connections and all that stuff, takes on a super law firm that he helped build. And season 2 is sort of the same thing. He's like pissing away money, like he's tipping people $200 because of what happened in season 1, and the noir in this show took a step up. Like, I don't remember season 1 being straight up noir moments, but the performances were really good in this one, and I'm going to start talking spoilers in a minute, but I'm just going to get this out of the way. If you guys have Amazon Prime, go watch Goliath. I really want a season 3. I don't know if they're going to do it. I expect them to do it because it's 8 episodes. I mean, they're already spending $1 billion on Lord of the Rings. I mean, give Billy Bob Thornton a couple $1 million and give him a budget to work with, because that might be one of my favorite shows. And this might be my favorite David E. Kelly project. I don't even know if he's like I think he was involved in season 1. I think he was a consultant on season 2. I don't know if he created it or not offhand. I know that he's associated with it. This show might be my favorite David E. Kelly show of all time, and he's had really good, interesting shows. It's just that that blend of humor and drama that he never quite nailed it with his stuff, and he has that that monologue problem where characters will go into this really impassioned speech, and I recognize it as like okay, this is the guy flexing his writing muscles. Okay, let's go, let's get it over with. How good's your writing? Okay, come on. And it's not a bad moment. It's just that I've seen enough of it to notice it. So Harry's Law, Boston Public. I want to say he did Ally McBeal too for some reason, but I'm not sure on that one. But good show. Go watch Clyde. So spoilers: 10, 9, 7, 8. Holy fuck! All right, let's redo that one again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Man, there's some good acting in this one. Billy Bob Thornton has his one episode in episode 6 or 7. I want to say 7. It's not a one-room drama, but it's the opening of the episode is half the episode, and he's stuck in with these killers, and he's stuck, and he's being held captive, and through playing them and setting things up for himself, and just biding his time and just being smart and desperate, and he ends up surviving, and the stuff happening all around him. I mean, not the big bad, but the guy that is the focus of this season, the enemy, is his acting deserves an award, because the guy who was on the league, Mark Duplass, I think, he has this schlubby look about him, but he looks like a guy that wants to be a regular guy, but he has just too much damn money. Like, he's walking around in athletic wear that's a freaking fortune, and that's not the weird part about him. The weird part is, like, he as a person is attracted to amputees, and they explain it really well, and it's really well documented, and like, you actually believe he's a person. And like, the last scene is probably one of the most disturbing things, and one of the most brilliantly acted scenes I've ever seen in a long ass time. Spoiler, the guy doesn't make it, or at least I don't know. I mean, what do you do in that situation? Like, the scary, sadistic, big bad, because this season deals with drug cartels. The guy who runs the drug cartel has a vested interest in a political figure, and the political figure has a relationship with the main character protagonist, played by Billy Bob Thornton. And this, the thing that kicks things off is David Cross plays this douchebag real estate guy that is skimming money. So David Cross puts the blame on one of his runners, and one of his runners gets offed while he's in the home of another gang member. So in order to make it a cover-up, because whatever reason, like, they didn't want to investigate they wanted the investigation to go away for whatever reason. They put the rap on the kid brother of two gangsters that got shot the week before by the guy who got killed. So the kid is falsely accused and arrested, and his dad is a dishwasher. He's like the nicest guy on the show. Everyone has the nicest thing to say about him. Well, the dad came to Billy Bob Thornton and was like, can you please help my son? And Billy Bob Thornton, like, checks things out, like, helps him along. He doesn't take on the case himself, but the dad gets killed because he's his son's only alibi, and that makes Billy Bob Thornton take the case, so that as out of respect for, like, a dying man, like, he helps out his son. And I mean, it's total conventional. It's a trope. Like, why is he involved? Oh, because whatever. And it sort of mirrors the first season, but it doesn't. It's different. It's but it sets things up. So it's 8 episodes. I highly recommend it. The plot gets a little tedious at times, but it has a very noir, very bad ending in terms of, like, I'll be honest with you guys, like they don't win the way that you would want them to. It's not like season 1 where everything gets wrapped up by the end of it, but like, enough things do get wrapped up. But like, little things really impress me with this series. Like, you know how, like, there's like annoying kids in Hollywood? It's not that they're annoying, it's just that the role and the direction that they're given makes them pretty goddamn annoying. Let's be real. I mean, whenever you see the 5-year-old on NCIS that like just like it's like, come on, kid, we know your voice is broken already. Just like stop with the shit. So the daughter has a role in this one, and it's not much of a role in terms of just being there or being a part of a subplot, but her like performance in episode 7, which might be my favorite episode of television this year, just because of like what I told you about before with like Billy being held captive and like Billy Bob Thornton. That's another thing I noticed too. It must be awesome to just change your character's name to your name so that people don't have to remember your name as something different. Be like, hey, Billy. Okay. So the daughter, turns out, has a drinking problem the way her father does, but I don't know if it's the same problem, but it's the same like holy shit factor that you expect from the dad. Like she's getting worried, she's getting pissed, and she's like lashing out, and she's just downing vodka, downing it. And you think, all right, maybe that was a one-time thing. Then you realize that she starts drinking again, and she goes driving in LA, and it may like it's not even like it wasn't even the most dramatic thing, but just in terms of like quiet spectacle, like her driving drunk in LA was maybe one of the best shot things I've ever seen, like in terms of that. So like there's other subplots, there's like a lot of interesting stuff going on, and like one of the things I'll gripe about it was like there was like a little bit too much like false friendships or whatever, or not even that, but just like it's like the rich guy before, like he befriends Billy's not secretary, but like one of his workers, and then you know her from season 1, and she kind of accepts him, and she kind of explores like his thing with him, and she's cool with it until she finds out that he's like on the bad guy's side, and she like says like, nah, we gotta stop this, and he thinks she's breaking up with him just because it went too far, and he doesn't realize that she found out like what he was, and the way that he breaks up with her is, it's like, god damn. But like I said, that guy, if Billy Bob Thornton, he deserves a nomination for like best supporting or best lead actor. But in terms like episode 7, he deserves an award for. But the villain, Mark Duplass, he is shot perfectly as a creepy possible killer guy, and he's also shot as like this like dumb looking white guy, and I think it's all like it's just a matter of just knowing how to use his jaw, like he just sticks out his jaw, or he looks down, or like, and like the last time you see him is probably one of the like most disturbing like it's like wow scenes ever. So all right, I'm gonna get off the topic of Goliath for a second. I finished up 2 series that I've been watching. I finished up the OVA of Regular The Lodoss War, I finished up the last episode of Spawn from HBO in the 90s, season 3, and I watched the last episode of Tin Star finally with Tim Roth. Like, all right, in order, Record of the Lodoss War is awesome. I really enjoy that style of animation and that style of like heroics, like hero's journey, where it's like I think we need to bring some of that back, where it's like I really don't care what, like, I think like in anime in particular, there's so many like Shinjis from Eva that they're like, oh, I'm depressed, oh, this, that, the other thing, and like there's just too much of that. And it's not even that it's bad on that end, it's just that like it's like that's not the bad thing, it's that everyone is like doing a lazy version of that, where the you see it in Erica 7, you see it in Darling in the Franxx, and like the heroes have like these like, I don't know, self-doubt, self-questions, depression, and like I just want like you see it in Deku from My Hero Academia, and like I understand the concept of arcs, but like can we just like have them start at like sea level and then just have them go up and down accordingly, like based on skill and getting their ass kicked, instead of like having personal problems. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it when it's done well, it's just that it's not always done well. So Spawn, I think, I don't know why they didn't do a season 4 in particular. I don't know if Todd McFarlane said I'm done, or if HBO said you're not doing well enough. It was the show I think people could take lessons from, because in terms of having dynamic shots, it was great. However, Spawn would not do so well in today's climate, just because like very little got done, very little. Like, and there was no great arcs. There was no like at the start of a season, like things happened, but they didn't like. It was like meandering a little bit, and that could be because it was a very faithful adaptation of the comics, but in terms of like having a beginning, a middle, and an end for each season, like it didn't have that. Like it was like a lot of spectacle, and like there were some high points, and like there was a lot of like drama, there was a lot of like very dynamic images, but overall, like I hope, because I know Todd McFarlane's like redoing Spawn in a movie and a cartoon eventually, so I just hope that like we get like a stronger story out of it than just like the adventures of guy in a cape that comes alive and all that stuff. So the third thing was Tin Star. Tin Star was awesome. Tim Roth, I can watch him do anything. I want to say either they were banking on Tim Roth putting in a good performance, or the writing got a little lazy for that show. I only say that because I want to see the script, and I want to just make sure it didn't say Tim Roth does Tim Roth things, because I don't know if that show's going to get a second season. I mean, it was a British show, and it was set in Canada, and it was part crime thriller, part Western, part like backstabbing drama. But they left on enough cliffhangers that it could warrant a second series, but the cliffhanger itself, I'm not, like, I recommend this series to you guys. It's 10-star on Amazon Prime. It's really good, and Tim Roth is really good, but like, it's like there's certain things in there that like I don't see the emotional path. Like there's two things you got to think about in a show. It's like in the narrative, the logical progression or the emotional path. And the reason why I say path and progression, like if you do things logically, like, okay, because that happened, this happened. Emotionally, okay, it's more intangible. Because the one character was feeling this, they did the stupid thing and they did that. And that's one of the things I just got to mention about it. So, if I was going to rank them, I would say Goliath Season 2, Season 1 if you haven't seen it yet. Then 10-star, then Record of the Lodoss War, and then Spawn. I only put Lodoss War third because that kind of anime is old-fashioned. You're getting spectacle, and you're getting because this happened, that happened, and to my understanding, the first part was the OVA, and that diverged from the source material at a certain point, but it had nods to it, because it was, I want to say, like, it was more of a, like, it wrapped things up, like, on its own. So, I'm kind of trying to do the math on it. I want to say, if you were to watch the series, like the second series, and you were to stop the OVAs halfway through, I want to say that if you stop at episode 7 on OVAs, the OVA, and then you go into the 26 episodes, I think that would be a much better idea than, like, I mean, I'm not saying don't watch the ending of the OVAs, but I think if you have a no filler policy, then do that. And then Spawn last, just because it's like it's a fun show at times. I mean, I think my biggest gripe about Spawn was that Todd McFarlane was in every episode. Not as the animated Todd McFarlane. I'm talking about real life, like Todd McFarlane, either at a drawing table in a dungeon and Todd McFarlane in a basement full of like mystical trinkets. I mean, like, it was a great way to kill 3 minutes every episode that they didn't have to animate, but like, Todd McFarlane doesn't need to serve as the Crypt Keeper on his own show. So, alright guys, that's 20 minutes. Alright, peace.